Hello and welcome to Moneylife. This time we're discussing about a public interest litigation that I filed in the Supreme Court through the kind offices of Senior Counsel Prashant Bhushan, who devotes a lot of time to help people like me take public causes forward through the courts. Now, what is it that I asked for? On 12th of August, a bench of Justices S. Abdul Nasir and J.K. Maheshwari of the Supreme Court of India were pleased to issue a notice to the Ministries of Finance, Corporate Affairs, Reserve Bank of India, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and this includes the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, with regard to the public interest litigation that I had filed. This is about creating a central database about unclaimed public money that rightfully should come to people like you and me if we have to inherit something from a deceased parent or relative. Any of you who have dealt with death know what a harrowing time it is to get property transferred to your name, to get your mutual funds, investments, and bank deposits. Doesn't matter that there is nomination. The minute that there is a death, it is a harrowing 3 to 6 months. And we at Moneylife, those of you who are interested, have written a series of articles to guide you through the process, telling you what you need. But what happens is that it's so difficult, and at times a person who's dead, sometimes suddenly, doesn't even tell you what bank accounts he or she had or what mutual fund holdings they had. So the family, the heirs, the legal heirs, sometimes people desperately in need of money have no idea what is their entitlement, what was even left to them, how to search for it and how to get it. What is absolutely shocking and scandalous is that this amount over the decades has grown and grown. And this includes not just bank deposits, shares, mutual funds, insurance that I'm talking about, but it includes all the Vikas Patras, the National Savings Certificate, the Employee Provident Fund, Public Provident Funds, the interest and dividends on these, and all kinds of other benefits associated with these investments. Now, if you don't know about the investment that your parent, uncle, or whatever, whose rightful legal heir you are, has left or had, it just lies unclaimed. And after a certain number of years, it goes into a pool. Now, these are various pools. I'll come to it bit by bit. Or some of you may have looked at my previous video blog on this. If not, take a look at it. Just sometime in July 2021, I had done a whole blog and an article on this in Moneylife. But like I said, the amount has collectively risen to 82,025 crore as of July 2021. Remember, the data is old, and in March 2020, you had the COVID pandemic and a lockdown, which actually wrote off 2 years of our lives. So the real numbers, and based on the number of sudden deaths that had happened, sometimes half of families, 3/4 of families have been decimated, this number would have gone up significantly higher. Things have worsened. And it is no surprise then that when this PIL came up after a long time, the honorable judges said it was an important question. In fact, the public response to just the news item about this PIL and the notices being sent have got a lot of support, public support. Many people who have come back to say it's the right thing, it was long overdue. Now, the question that you would ask is, why did I need to file a public interest litigation at all? Why couldn't it just be done? The answer is in that number. If things were done, that number would not have been 82,000 crore or significantly higher. Now, no regulator or ministry says that you don't deserve that money. Everybody agrees that the issue is right. This is money that belongs to people, in most cases fully tax paid, and all regulators in their own way have been working at improving the system. They do little bits and pieces, not enough. Now, our PIL has listed a number of circulars. The Reserve Bank of India, for instance, has its heart in the right place. From time to time, it asks banks to be more sensitive, track down rightful heirs, says talk to people who have not operated their account for 2 years, but nothing really happens. Then there is a Supreme Court judgment, which I have talked about in my PIL, which also makes it clear that the RBI has been authorized by Parliament to enact a policy or issue directions that have statutory force. Okay? Nothing changed. Why? Because things don't move like that in India. There is no pressure to find a holistic solution, and what we have is motherhood statements and homilies which do not translate into comprehensive, cohesive action. Now, when the government wants to collect taxes, or the government wants to know whether you're stashing some unaccounted money, so link Aadhaar, force you to get a PAN, get GST, MCA 21, it's all online, because this is the government collecting taxes. When it's your money, why is it that this entire technology prowess that we have is of no use? Because nobody wants to create a system. Forget a system, we do not even have standard operating procedures. And in our PIL, we're going a step further and saying, give us a centralized database. We want a world-class system. And as I've argued in a previous column, which you will see in this bubble up here, we have said in July 2021 that regulators should be made accountable unless the government and regulators are directed to produce results in a time-bound manner. You will not have any comprehensive action. And that is what the PIL pleads for. Please direct them, issue a writ of mandamus and issue directions which the Honorable Court may feel fit to say, find a solution in a time-bound manner. The other point that I'm making is that resources are not an issue. Imagine just the interest on this 82,000 crore. This is public money. This does not come out of a budget allocation. This is not government money. Just the interest alone is enough to get world-class technology and resources without even, going in for the lowest bidder. Go for the best, and it can be funded. At Mr. Bhushan's suggestion, the PIL has also sought not just the writ of mandamus and directions, but we have also said, take a look at the whole thing about getting a probate, a succession certificate, having to go to court, because all the things that a legal heir has to do, even when there is an undisputed and valid will, or when the family says we have no claims, or there is a family agreement to divide the assets, even then it says get a succession certificate, go to this authority, that authority, go to court, and it takes years and years. Don't even ask how bad it is when it's disputed, but we are sticking to undisputed amounts. So we are pleading with the courts to say, please give us a system that works. Now, why central database? Okay, because many a times legal heirs are not even aware of the existence of deposits. This happens also because we are in a joint family system even now. A lot of people don't share things with their families. Sometimes they don't share it because they live in joint families. So there are accounts that nobody knows about. There are insurance policies that nobody knows about. Mutual fund schemes quietly opened for the children. And then there's an accident, an untimely event, and things just remain unclaimed. There are innumerable stories about this. We at Moneylife Foundation, which is an NGO, listen to heart-rending stories, and we also listen to heart-rending stories about the hoops that people have to jump through to claim what they have to. Banks have asked people to get 2 sureties from unknown people, who are not known to you. They've asked you to open a fixed deposit of the amount that you're supposed to get, sign affidavits, issue indemnities, all kinds. It's almost as though each bank manager just makes up what he wants to because he does not want problems in future. There are no standard operating procedures, such a basic. So RBI will keep saying, be nice to the heirs, but will not say how, will not say what is good enough, because if you spell out rules, some fraudster may find a way around it. So in fact, when we talked about central database, one of the reactions that has come is also about, will fraudsters attack this? Yes, we'll come to it. But like I said, first you have to understand what are all these sources of money. So like I said before, unclaimed bank deposits, interest, bonds that may be from the Reserve Bank of India, all of it goes to the Depositor Education and Awareness Fund. This had nearly 40,000 crores of unclaimed deposits and interest at the end of March 2021. We are now in August 22. The Investor Education Fund is where corporate fixed deposits, bonds, interest, dividend, all of it is stashed. At the end of March 2020, 2 years ago, it had 4,100. This amount would be much more. Unclaimed Provident Fund, insurance, post office savings, government savings, EPFO, all this gets put into the Senior Citizens Welfare Fund. Remember, it's a nice thing to put it there, but this may belong to you and me. This may be tax-paid money. It may be people whose families, whose children desperately need it, and it's gone into Senior Citizens Welfare Fund, which ought to be taken care of by the Government of India. Inactive mutual funds alone, the last known figure is 17,000 crore. Insurance claims, which ought to go to people who are, nominated, 15,000 crore. And the various Provident Fund and government savings schemes could be well above 50,000 crore, but the numbers, no clear numbers are available. So, starting point is, do you even know that someone who passed away, do you even know what he had, where his investments were? And if you did not know, how do you search for it? So, we are saying, create a central database where in one place you should know about insurance, about mutual funds, Provident Fund, everything. Don't keep making us go. None of us are so tech savvy that we know about the different websites, the fake websites, know the correct one, go to the right place. Make it easy for us to search so that when I search a name, I should know everything. The insurance, the mutual fund, the bank deposits, not have to go to different regulators and search through absolutely unsearchable websites. Now, correctly, the big worry is that this large database will be such a magnet for fraudsters, identity thieves. They can fake your Aadhaar, they can do so much worse, right? Yes, we agree. Does it mean you don't have Aadhaar? Does it mean you don't link PAN to Aadhaar? The government doesn't listen to it, right? Even though we talk about identity theft, they say we will have checks and balances. So we are saying the same thing. When it comes to our money, let the same rule prevail. Create a central database. You do not have to put a person's entire information in the public domain. You can restrict it and go step by step, but create that database, make it central, answer the legitimate privacy concerns so that all data is not exposed. Let it be a gradual step by step thing so that when a person's name is available, you can find out things one by one. It's possible. Technology makes it possible, right? Exactly how this should be done, I'm not a tech person. We don't have all the answers. But like I said, the government is sitting on public money. We have the best IT brains and technology. We are so proud of it. If we can create these big databases for GST and Aadhaar, we can create a system that transcends these silos of separate ministries, finance, corporate affairs, laws, courts, probates, and regulators, SEBI, PFO, the Provident Fund Authority, the IEPF and what have you. Let it all be in one place. Do not harass us. Remember, people who are trying to get their legitimate claims are usually grieving relatives. Give them a break. Now, some facts before we go to find a solution. RBI, SEBI and IRDA, which is the insurance regulator, have already directed banks, mutual funds and insurance to display the names of those with unclaimed deposits on their websites. But like I said, most of these are not searchable. There is questions of how much of data to put in. We want it centralized. Legal heirs, like I said also, are unaware of the existence many a times. When it's centralized, it's possible that it's linked to some common number or to a PAN or something so that you will be able to find out things. So if you know that the deceased person had an account in X bank and was linked to this PAN, then you can always find out what are the various things that the PAN was linked to. So you can link it to a depository and know there were shares. You can link it to an insurance and know there was a policy that should come to you. You do not have to go on a big treasure hunt all over the country. It should be possible. In the past 5 years, regulators as well as lenders have created these multiple streams of data. They have them. It's mandatory. It's part of KYC. So anything that you do, whether it's insurance or even a mobile phone, it is linked to a PAN, it's linked to Aadhaar, it's linked to a bank account, it's linked to something, right? Social media profiles are available. All this is done to make lending and recovery easy. So why shouldn't it be available to get your legitimate unclaimed dues that you have inherited, that are tax paid? And sometimes maybe this money is also useful to banks. Maybe the person who had a fat insurance policy has also left a loan that is unpaid and the family may pay it back. So there are positives for everyone. Now, many banks' websites, like I said, provide information about unclaimed deposits, hard to search and make a valid claim based on it. RBI has kept urging banks to reach out to people, but in the absence of SOPs, nothing really happens. Everybody says yes. So each bank and often individual bank managers, like I said, make up rules. IEPF from 2016 created the IEPF authority. I've written about this. There are issues with it which you can read. IEPF is also on Twitter claiming we have a great system now, you don't need agents. It's not true. Ask us at Moneylife Foundation every other day, including to very tech-savvy people. We have to guide them to get help because it is not easy. It is so difficult. It is harrowing. Problems with making valid claims have opened up, in fact, a business opportunity. So there are, and I've written about this before, a couple of private companies or more, and I'm not going to give names here. They even advertise on Google saying, come to us, we'll do it. Some of them have millions of investors' information. It's scraped from various databases, it's collected from companies, but they have put it in place. What they also do is, they don't give you all the information. They are aware of the fraud aspect, they are aware of things that go wrong. So you can first check the name and whether there is an amount. Every bit of access requires a fee, and you go step by step. We are saying, do the same thing with the central database. Finally, if you want help in all those forms and proofs and whatever that have to be provided to IEPF, they charge you a fatter fee. This ranges anywhere between 10%. We know of only one person who charges 10%, but usually between 20 to 50%. Isn't this like a 50% tax on tax paid inheritance when we don't have estate duty in India? And this goes to a private person. It's in the government's interest to stop this and make sure that we get our rightful claims. India has progressed by leaps and bounds in technology. We have public service platforms that the world is looking at, like the UPI payment system. We've forced people to give biometrics and have Aadhaar with all its flaws and frauds, and we continue to say it's great. We've forced people to have online corporate filings. We have PAN linked to bank accounts. We have improved our passport system. So why is it that when we have all these apps and websites for everything from ticketing to vaccines, why are we in the dark ages when it comes to our inheritance rights and rightful claims as ordinary people? So my plea in the Supreme Court is, please issue directions that this is done in a time-bound manner. It does not require government resources. Please allow them to use the interest on this fat 82,000 crore. I'm sure it's 1 lakh crore today because we're talking about old data. Give us an efficient, world-class, foolproof, technology-based, timely solution. Make the death of a person less harrowing for the people of India. I'm really grateful that Prashant Bhushan and his team, including Advocate Rashmi Singh, have taken this up. If it weren't for people like that, your and my voice would not be heard in the highest court of the land. We don't know how it will go. We don't know what the regulators say. The battle is just beginning. If you have examples of the bad time you've gone through, you have suggestions, write to me, please. We have 8 weeks. Please write to me at sucheta@moneylife.in. If you like what you see here, share it, build awareness, build support for this. This is about all of us. The one thing constant in life is death. All of us have to face it. Nobody escapes it. So join this fight and subscribe to Moneylife. Thank you.